So Peter and Lynn, what would you say is the best part of the mentorship that you had when we worked together for those 3 days? If you had to pick only one thing, what would you say would be the
I
highlight?
would say it would be learning from Tim's expertise, like just having a specific format and being very analytical and how to file the spreadsheet, how to input the numbers, how to truly evaluate a deal to make sure that we weren't going to go into a deal that would be too risky. So I would say the most important thing was how to evaluate a property and evaluate the deal using an analytical spreadsheet, so that we would know how to analyze any property once he left us.
It was that, and it was also understanding the pitfalls, because our first property was a distressed property that was in foreclosure. And so because of having that guidance in terms of what we should bid and where we should stop, because we had to keep funding available for the renovation side of everything, we knew pretty much what our limit should be. And then as we went through the negotiations, we would get guidance because the realtor kept trying to change the number and goose it up, and Tim, oh, don't do that.
He said they
He
ask
said,
for your highest and best, you give that one time.
Yeah.
So that was great guidance.
Yeah, remind me how we found this deal. Was it something? Was it on the MLS, or was it from marketing?
The deal that we found, I have a friend who's a realtor that we were working with to buy properties. We've chosen to sell all of them on our own. So we've not used a realtor in the closing, so we haven't paid a 6% commission. And we've done well doing that. But the first, I'm on a list with anything that was, say, 0 to 300,000 that came up in our 5 surrounding towns.
Okay.
I would get an email. So every day, every morning, I check the emails for what came up. And those kind of properties we had to look at that day, because usually there were multiple people bidding. So we found that one. We found that one on our own, and
the MLS.
it was off the MLS, but we found it by looking,
Yeah.
getting the list share, whatever.
And more importantly, when we started to look at it, we were saying, well, what's the difference when you're dealing with a foreclosure? And what we were told by Tim was that it's going to take more time. It's got more of a process to it, because the people who are holding the property for the bank that was foreclosing for non-payment on mortgages, they're going to do whatever they can to get out whole from their mortgage. So because of that, we had to have more patience with the process, because they had to go back and see if the number was going to work. And when they finally got to us and said, this is our highest and best offer, they tried to jiggle it some more. And we weren't having that. So as a result, we bought in for a distressed property at 136. We would have offered 130, but for the $6,000 difference in the price, we felt that the location of the property near the shoreline in Guilford, Connecticut, was worth the risk that associated with a $6,000 difference.
Yeah.
So we went through that whole process, Tim, and in doing that, we found that it's like anything else, like going to a car dealership, like going into anything else that you have to negotiate a price on. You have to have the patience to be able to put in your best offer and be able to walk away from it if you have to.
What did you guys end up making on that profit? Do you remember?
Yes, $45,000.
45,000. Okay, that's good. One question I wanted to ask you too, Pete, is I know your background's in financing. Did you learn anything new in regards to financing after our time together?
So what I found
Yeah.
the difference was that because we were using a self-directed IRA, we were coming in as a cash buyer, and we didn't have to wait for approvals by banks or anything else. And it gave us an advantage in the negotiation. So cash buyers have a lot more credibility in closing on a deal, because most of the people that are selling, it's not their home, it's not their main interest. It's their job to get a price, what they think is the best price they can get, and get it over with, so they don't spend a lot of time. And this property was, again, in a great location, but it had seen a lot of wear.
I remember. Lynn, I was going to ask you too. I know you did some of the work on the house yourself, from what I recall.
Did a lot.
So what did you learn from that experience?
I was there every day with the contractors. We did what you told us, which was interview. That was one of the most important things. Interview 4 contractors, 4 electricians, 4 tree people, 4 of everything. And then we had an option to choose. Luckily, we happened to pick people that were phenomenal. We used them all in our second house as well. They were, on time, showed up every day, and they knew I was there every day. So I said, don't take this job if it's going to take you more than, 4 or 6 weeks, whatever we agreed on, and don't take it if you're going to come and then not come. So they knew that I was there every day. So that definitely made them a little more accountable. But second house, I laid 60 bags of mulch on the last day to get it on the market. So there wasn't any job I wouldn't do, and I was there every single day. In the second house, it was a lot of work, because I ordered every fixture. We had 4 bathrooms, and they were all gutted. So I had to order 4 vanities and 4 sinks and 4 toilets. So I had to do all that in an economical way. And I was really a great bargain hunter, finding a granite top, maybe that had a chip in it. So instead of $1,000, I got it for $300. So that took a lot of time. So I would say the first house was easier because an 800 square foot house that wasn't selling for a whole lot, we could do Home Depot type appliances. I mean, but the second house, which was going to sell for $630,000, we had to have a lot more upscale work. So that took a lot of time.
We also learned not to stand under the ceiling where the contractor is when he's ripping the ceiling down, because there might be rodent damage in the attic coming your way.
Nice.
Yes, the people that think watching a show on TV it's luxurious, no, demo work is not luxurious, especially if it's August and there's no power and there's no air conditioning.
And we're taking the nails out of the stud, and it's 103 degrees. So it was quite the experience in terms of what are you willing to do to get this done on time.
And we were, again, cost. We wanted to make as much money on the property. So Pete and I painting the basement, Pete doing the power washing, me laying the mulch, and doing all the landscaping. So we did a lot of the work ourselves so that we could increase our profit margin, which we did.
Nice. I was going to ask you too, what would you, after you've got a couple deals under your belt, what would you do different in your next deal? What are you looking to do different?
We have not been able to do a deal because, again, we're very risk averse. The numbers don't work right now. Houses are selling in a few hours at 25, 50, 100,000 over asking price because the inventory is exceptionally low. So this is not the market for a flipper. So I think what we do well is we do the analysis, and if it's a risk, we walk away. So we're not emotionally attached to any property. If the numbers don't work, then it's something that Pete and I can agree on, that we're not gonna take the risk.
And the alternative investments are out there. So what we did in 2021 was we couldn't find any houses to do that kind of work, but we went down to outside of Myrtle Beach, a place called Pawleys Island, and we took the same capital and we purchased in our self-directed IRA, we purchased a 1,390 square foot, 3-bedroom, brand new condo. And when we purchased it, we were saying we're not going to speculate, but it turned out while we were looking at these, the owner of one had a family distressed situation and said, I'd be willing to sell it for what I paid for it if you're willing to cash me out right away. And we said we could do that. So we bought it for $225, and right now its market value is $344, and our monthly rent is going to go up to $2,300 a month with a tenant that's been there for over 3 years. And so we net, after what's gone on with the appreciation, we net $17,000 to $19,000 of additions to our IRA, which I consider income off of the real estate. So it's looking at different choices and looking at different opportunities. When one door is shut, there might be a window that's open.
Yeah, it's all good. I know, like you said, it's not the time for flipping right now. So investing does not necessarily just flipping houses. We have different reasons for doing things in any given market, whether it's a market that's conducive of flipping or conducive of cash flow or whatever it might be. So I just wanted to point out that you're not only stuck on a strategy, you're looking at any opportunity to make money, which is what I wanted you guys to learn too. So that makes sense.
Plus, this property is someplace that we could eventually move to if we wanted to,
There you go.
in a market that we feel very comfortable with. So as a result, we kind of hedge two risks. One is being stuck in Connecticut forever, which is not my priority, and having an opportunity to go in and lock a price for a property in South Carolina, and that's a booming market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that we were able to, we got it rented and we've had it rented ever since. Again, because we use the self-directed RA, we were again in a little bit of a bidding war. But because we said we're all cash and we can close in 2 weeks, we got the property.
Yeah.
And expected that it would make probably about a 20% return, because with supply chain issues, they knew it was going to, and we made, after the first year, we made a 50% return. So obviously, like you said, we couldn't have done that somewhere else. And that didn't require any of our hard work in sweat equity.
Yes.